Hey ladies and gentlemen, just going to talk you through graphing reciprocal functions here. So what we've done is had a look at the function y equals 1 over x. So what I've done is I've put in a heap of values for x here. So let's say x is minus 2, what would y be? If we substitute that in, we find that is minus 0.5. If we have 1 over minus 1, that is the same as minus 1. 1 over minus 0.5 is minus 2. Okay, at 0 we find that there's an undefined, and we'll explain why in a minute. So that is undefined. If we put in 1 over 0.5, that is actually 2. 1 over 1 is 1, and 1 over 2 is otherwise known as a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to draw a graph and insert these points for us all. Okay, so I've drawn my graph here. I've inputted these points at minus 2, minus 0.5. There's minus 2 on the x-axis. There's minus 0.5 on my y-axis. Okay, and what I find is I get this nice little curve. Okay, sorry about my drawing. I'm drawing with a Wacom tablet here. It could be really rough. So there you go. That is the graph y equals 1 over x, and we can clearly see some points there. What is in between these points here? Why does it never touch? Well, that's what's known in this particular graph, okay, as a horizontal and vertical asymptote. So horizontal and vertical asymptote. So that is a point at which this graph will never touch. This graph will actually go infinitely and never touch this asymptote. These asymptotes in this case are located at y equals 0 and x equals 0. Okay, so we can see at y equals 0 on this x-axis here, y equals 0. This graph will never touch any point along there. Okay, at x equals 0, this will never touch along any point there. Okay, well, let's change up the function. Let's go y equals 2 over x, and let's have a look at some values there. I'm just going to put in some values for x, okay, and then we're going to work out some values for y. So what I've done is I've substituted in my x value of minus 4, okay, and that becomes minus a half, doesn't it? 2 over 4 is a half, so it's minus a half. Sub in minus 2, 2 over minus 2, minus 1, and sub in minus 1, okay, 2 over minus 1 is minus 2. And I'll draw the graph of that. So I'll pause the video, draw the graph, see what it looks like. Okay, here's the graph with the points that I've allocated for, and once again we find a nice curve, okay, on both sides here. Alright, with my horizontal asymptotes in between, so the graphs will never meet. So this video is just quickly about sketching these. Alright, I'm going to go into a bit more detail in a second video about changing these functions. Hopefully this helps.